OTCWC Army, welcome back to On the Couch with Corporal. This is the second episode. Last episode was on a trending topic or a red thumbnail video. This is going to be a blue thumbnail video, which means it's going to be about a media topic. The specific media medium, it's a term, I wasn't correcting myself. Anyway, the media medium we're going to be looking at is YouTube, and we're going to be looking at the commentary community. Let me start this with a disclaimer that I am not in any way claiming to be an expert on how to make commentary videos. There are people that are vastly more successful than me that are doing just as well making their own videos in the genre, and they know the formula to success. I'm just getting into it, and I clearly have a long way to go, so I'm not pretending to be an expert. That being said, you know, there are a lot of commentary channels are kind of similar, mostly in that when you watch a channel like Pyrocynical or Memulous, it's usually to have them take the piss out of what someone's doing. Again, I won't pretend to take the moral high ground. I absolutely enjoy the Memulous and Pyrocynical videos because of that. It's a big reason I enjoy them. But with Pyrocynical specifically, I actually do enjoy some of his more like serious content, like his game reviews, like Condemned, Hunt Down the Freeman review, Petscop. I thoroughly enjoyed in the Smash video. Those are all good videos too. But even he seems to understand that most of the people watch him to have him take the piss out of what someone's doing. When we watch The Ace Family Must Be Stopped, it's most likely because we think that Pyrocynical's opinions are going to be an extension or a reflection of our own. We think that he's going to make points or say things that we agree with or we ourselves think, and he's going to add his own flair that makes it entertaining and also somewhat informative. I don't want to give the impression that this is a bad thing, because it's really not. People like Willany, Memulous, Pyrocynical, and Quite are some of my favorite creators, and they genuinely make very good content. It's very entertaining and very great to watch. Beyond that, it can also draw attention to some, like, crappy people or crappy situations. Off the top of my head, I can think of, like, Hypebeasts, kind of, some specific YouTubers, and those, like, dodgy, weird suspect kids videos. But a problem, and I don't like to use that word, but that's the word I'm going to use, a problem starts to arise when you realize that, you know, these guys have very similar opinions to each other, and while, yes, they might bring their own flavor or personality to the content that they're talking about, I'd really rather not watch a third video on why Belle Delphine must be stopped. Just looking at these three videos, you can tell that they're very similar in title, and by watching them, you'll very easily see that they're very similar in the content of the actual video itself. And I'm not saying that any particular one of them is better, because one, that's really not for me to say, and I'm also not really trying to start any drama or any kind of fight or anything. These guys make good content, they work hard, and as far as I'm concerned, they've earned the position that they're at in terms of their subscriber count and popularity. I respect these guys. I want like a prop for this next bit, but I don't. Now, the point! I'm hoping that in editing I remember to add like a sword or something there, just so it's not the most like cringy thing in the world. This is why a channel like The Right Opinion is the right way to do commentary. I stumbled across The Right Opinion when his video on TikTok popped up in my recommendations. At first glance, he might not seem all that special. You know, he only has about 1/10 of some of the more popular commentary channels. He doesn't show his face, and he has, you know, like the trademark of commentary channels, at least early on, where they have an animated character that only has like 1 or 2 positions that kind of changes. If you take an extra second to look past that, you'll find some genuinely very good underrated content. Speaking as an editor, the editing in these videos is phenomenal. It's the work of genius. It's entertaining when it needs to be, and it also does a very good job of conveying the topic that he's discussing without being too distracting. The editing isn't flashy, and it genuinely feels like a natural extension of the commentary, even though it's visual. Like, it all feels like it fits together quite well. Even when he's using a clip of the person or thing that he's making a commentary video about. This is a practice that, you know, anyone who's familiar with commentary knows about, where, you know, commentators will react to a clip of whatever person they're talking about or whatever. But most commentary channels employ a practice of stop, react, continue, stop, react, repeat. The harsh cutting works for comedic effect most of the time, and when it works, but it starts to become a problem when it interrupts the flow of your video and makes everything feel kind of disconnected. I'm not going to call anybody out because that would be stupid, and of course it's not really my place to call anyone out, but also I'm sure on some level that would be a little bit hypocritical. I'm sure that I've made content where I've made hard cuts away from something I'm reacting to. You know, everyone's guilty of it to some level. The Right Opinion does an expert job weaving his clips into his script, and in general the video has a very natural, uninterrupted flow. And I think it's because he doesn't rely on these clips that he's reacting to get his point across. They're more supplements to help drive that point home. if that makes sense. The Right Opinion also outsources the editing of his video to multiple editors because he breaks his videos up into chunks. While I'm not 100% sure as to why he does this, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of YouTubers do outsource their editing, and by outsourcing it to multiple editors across multiple sections, it does sort of, in a way, help to keep the video fresh and sort of, rejuvenate the viewer with every new section. But I can also see how you might argue the opposite, whereas multiple editors might clutter up a video and it might lose some of its consistency or a consistent narrative. That being said, like I said, each editor works on a section and they all do a fantastic job. And I don't know if they're in contact when they edit, or if it's on him, but each section has very consistent quality and they're, again, very interwoven with each other, and it does feel very consistent. The editors, I'm sure, have to, take an extra look at it to make sure that it's consistent with the section before and consistent with the tone that the Right Opinion wants to present. This also helps because, one editor doesn't get too strained when they're done working on one section. And again, even though there's 3 different editors, it does manage to remain pretty thematically consistent, while again, at the same time, the somewhat unique editing style that inevitably bleeds into the final presentation of the video does sort of rejuvenate the viewer and sort of kickstart their interest in the next part of the video that they end up going to watch. As these videos are quite long, his videos usually range from about 20 to 40 minutes. The Right Opinion always gives credit to his editors in the pinned comment of his video. By the way, if the right Opinion, if you end up watching this and I don't know what your workflow is for outsourcing editors, but I am an editor looking for work, so hit me up if you ever need an editor, although I'm sure you have a wonderfully high backlog of editors, so just let me know. Speaking of credit, the Right Opinion will always cite his sources. Hey guys, CorporalSaturn from the future here. I did really want to show the pinned comment to prove what I was saying, but unfortunately YouTube has disabled comments on the Right Opinion's video because of this new policy that they're working through to try and deal with some shady goings on comments and videos. And while that in itself is noble, it's unfortunate that creators like the Right Opinion have their comments disabled for something stupid like this, and apparently in some cases your videos can even get demonetized, so people's entire ways of life can get shut down just because of some trolls in the comments. That's incredibly broken and ripe for abuse. Anyway, back to the present. He'll link to every article, every video, everything he uses in his video, with the exception of if he uses the YouTube logo for a funny animated bit. He won't link probably to stock images, but for the most part, if it's something that he pulled from something else, he'll have a link to it in his pinned comment. It's a proper works cited. It even goes so far as to the point where he'll link the subject of his video, and that's really interesting because most commentary channels won't do that, but the context here is very important. In the case of Pyrocynical or Memulus, like I said earlier, they'll kind of take the piss out of what people are doing, not so much the individual. And because the two of them and other commentary channels know that they themselves are jaded and that their audiences will have opinions that are very similar to their own or think very similarly to how they think, they'll spread this message of, don't go send these people hate, and they don't want to start a witch hunt. So they make it as hard as possible for people to find the people that they're talking about, because some people in their comments or their viewers have very selective listening. So it makes sense to make it as hard as possible to track these people down. Sure, someone could obviously go search them up and leave hate, but it's just not as easy at that point. Nonetheless, the Right Opinion will link his subject. So why is it different? Well, that brings us into the next part of the video, the actual content of the videos that the Right Opinion makes. Fans of the Right Opinion won't witch hunt someone because of how he presents his arguments and his topics in the video. He goes very in-depth and he explores both sides of the situation or argument that he's presenting. It's very clear that he works very hard on his videos. He puts a lot of work into them. He does, a lot of research, and just the links in the pinned comment alone are a testament to that. He'll never rush out a video on a trending topic just to get a video on that trending topic out. This practice is harmless, and admittedly, I'm guilty of it myself with the first episode of the series about Blue Will Smith. Again, it seems like he wants to be as well-informed as possible, even if that means missing an opportune window for a trending topic by days or sometimes months. He tries to remain as unbiased as possible, but he doesn't pretend to be a know-it-all and does acknowledge when he has strong opinions or his own biases about something. He clearly presents fact as fact, opinion as opinion, and then walks us through what he's talked about so that we can clearly understand how he reaches the conclusions that he does. While he might not necessarily be the funniest commentary channel on the platform, he's certainly entertaining and interesting to watch in his own right. When I was working on the script, I was having some trouble, so I reached out to my friend Incog, and he actually had some pretty interesting things to say about this commentary and the right opinion in general, so I'm going to read something that he sent me. How the right opinion has developed is based on being a commentary channel who can provide the full story and reasons with it. No bullshit on the side. Most commentary channels suffer from poking a lot of fun at the person that they're talking about and making too many jokes, and perhaps making the video long and bloated by repeating the same things over and over again, but in slightly different ways. The right opinion doesn't do this as far as I know, and can honestly change how people view the commentary channels overall. That was from my friend Incog. He's a fantastic creator. Please go check him out. He's in the process of reworking his channel, making some new content as well. He's a very good friend of mine. Very down to earth, so go check him out. I'll leave his link in the description for you guys to see. The Right Opinion's commentary, style, and method of delivery are something that has been missing from the commentary community for a long time. He's very matter-of-fact and to the point, and I respect that. Levy arguably pioneered the genre back in 2015 or 2016, where you'd put your uncut commentary under gameplay, maybe there's a skit at the beginning, and you'd essentially kind of be clowning on people, and that worked. It was a format that worked. The Right Opinion is a breath of fresh air from all this, and like Incog said, he could really be the thing that changes people's opinions on commentary channels. Before I go, I want to say that I don't have any beef with anyone I mentioned in this video. I don't have any problems with anybody. I sincerely look up to every creator that I've mentioned at some point in this video, except for Leafy. He made garbage content, his channel is dead, and it should stay dead. But like, genuinely seriously, like, I hope that the commentary community continues to grow, and I hope that the Right Opinion, continues to do what he's doing, because I genuinely am looking forward to his videos. If you guys did like this video, be sure to leave a like. If you disliked it, you can leave a dislike, but I'll be sad and I'll probably cry. If you have something to say about this video, go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me if you loved it, hated it, whatever. If you're new, consider subscribing. Maybe ring that bell for notifications if you like this series and you don't want to miss an upload. What else is there? Oh! If you want to become an official member of the CorporalSaturn Channel, you can do so by clicking the little join button next to subscribe, and if you're on mobile, you should be able to see a link in the description of this video. As a member of the CorporalSaturn Channel, you'll get access to a special role on my Discord, once a month, member-only live streams, cool emotes. You'll get access to behind-the-scenes screenshots of my videos. You'll also get a credit in the description of every video. But I am gonna go. Thank you all so much for watching. That's gonna end today's mission. Your next mission, should you choose to accept it, is to do all the stuff that I mentioned before. Leave, like, comment, join, and